This is episode 31 of the Latter-day Saint Geeks podcast. I'm Spencer, and TJ and I are back to discuss more Doctor Who.
Woohoo! Love Doctor Who. Can't get enough Who.
Do we?
Nope, we cannot. So with Doctor Who, we're going to talk about our recommendations, which I don't think anything has any real relation to Doctor Who in general.
No, yours might a little bit, at least sci-fi and time
Yeah.
travel and all.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. More than yours, but yours is still awesome too.
I don't know about awesome, but it's Frozen, and that all depends on your definition of how awesome Frozen is. Because I've been, my girls have been really stuck on music from Olaf's Frozen Adventure, which is one of the few Frozen things that I can tolerate on a consistent basis. Little Disney Plus, or I don't know where it came from exactly, but it's on Disney Plus now. But Frozen Christmas special, all about trying to find purpose in the holidays and being together. And as much as I have a hard time with Olaf,
Oh, I love Olaf.
He's hit and miss with me. I think, when Frozen was like overdone, I got sick of Olaf, but then there was like that Olaf Presents kind of thing.
Yep, that's why I like Olaf Presents.
I could have plenty more Olaf if we have more Olaf Presents. But
He's like that Ant-Man's friend when he gives the recap of anything.
oh, exactly.
Luis, is that his name?
I think so. But yeah, I love it. The final song in it is just heartwarming and all about being together for the holidays, and that's the most important thing beyond traditions, presents, blah blah blah. But yeah, and I mean, my 1.5-year-old has been begging essentially for Big Sister to go dance with her every time it comes on Spotify lately, so that's adorable, and can't say no to that.
How can you not like something that is going to be adorable? Like, that's usually that wins.
Yeah, when my 1.5-year-old is like all excited, Essa! Any notion of Frozen being overdone kind of goes out the window a little bit.
Yeah, my now 12-year-old, when she was a toddler, she used to refer to Olaf as happy, because he's a happy snowman, according to his song. So I always thought that was always cute to us.
That sounds familiar. I think I knew that at one point.
I would not be surprised.
Yep.
Okay.
And moving on from the holiday thematically,
I ain't got no holiday.
Moving on from the
with
holidays to sci-fi towards Doctor Who, we are going to stop at
my recommendation, which is Star Trek Voyager. I've seen a lot of things about Star Trek Voyager. Some people think it's one of the better shows. Some people think it's one of the worst shows. I don't know. To me, it's Star Trek, and I loved it regardless. I stopped worrying about favorites and whatnot. I think Next Generation is the best, but I still have a soft spot in my heart for Voyager. I think part of that had to do with I watched it early on in Voyager's initial airing back in the mid-90s. And recently I was trying to find something to watch, and it's very difficult to find things to watch that my wife's not interested in, because then once she gets interested into it, I have to wait until she's ready to watch it again. So, if she's seen it, it's not as big of a deal. So while she was out of town with our son to Disneyland, while I was, for him with the marching band, he got to go march down Main Street Parade with the marching band. I just was like, I'm going to find something to watch, and I picked Star Trek Voyager. I started it with the end of season 3 because I really don't. I don't like the first season that much. The second season I've seen probably countless times because that's when I started really watching it, so I watched plenty of reruns. And I don't care for season 3 that much, but I love once they introduced the Borg in Seven of Nine. Jerry Ryan is awesome as Seven of Nine. And I may have talked about another show she was in called Leverage. I think that's been one of my shows that I've mentioned.
You might have mentioned it once or twice, or
I might have. I love
personally
Leverage, so.
dozens of times, but that's a different.
To you, yes, that's a whole. Not all of our conversations are for the public, thank goodness. But I really
that would be terrifying.
Yes, it would be. But again, back to Voyager. There's something enjoyable about it for me. There's some nostalgia there, and then on the flip side, I really enjoy a lot of the different stories. But then people criticize it for breaking Star Trek rules whenever they felt like it, and I'm just sitting there thinking, most of them did it anyway. I don't know why you gotta get flack to that one. So, that's my recommendation.
I mean, we just barely got Paramount Plus back a couple months ago, so I'm barely at the beginning of Next Generation after finally finishing the original, because that was a trip.
Yeah, it takes a long. I never have finished the original series. I still watch it when I feel like it, but I haven't finished it.
Yeah, but so I'm way off from Voyager, so I can't really comment on that. But I did. I mean, I'm the son of a Trekkie, so saw plenty of it growing up.
You know it. Yeah.
But so can't say with any sort of authority, not that I have authority anyways, on the matter. But
any sort of knowledge, like true active knowledge at this point.
Yeah, I'm far from being a Trekkie, but I don't know what possibly Voyager could have done to be outside the rules of Star Trek.
Oh, it is. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with them, with these critics, when it comes to, Voyager kept breaking the rules, but I just felt like there's so many plot holes in everything and everywhere, and it's not worth worrying about.
A franchise goes on for long enough. A franchise goes on long enough, and especially like a sci-fi or fantasy one, you're gonna step on yourself at plenty of points. Like how the Doctor was half human on his mother's side.
Yep. Well, the Doctor lies. That's the first rule. So who knows? Yep. But on the flip side, Voyager, to me, it's Star Trek. It was fun to watch.
Plus, it's Janeway and Seven of Nine. Like, I don't remember
which I think is two of the best pairings
yeah.
in Star Trek history, or one of the best pairings of two people.
I look forward to getting to that point whenever the heck I get to Voyager.
Or you got a ways.
I got a ways. Or heck, even I was, I can't say thrilled because I didn't watch it, but like, oh, that's so cool when Seven of Nine came back for Picard. And I think that's been out long enough that, again, anyone that's listening to us, spoiler alert, get over it, move on.
I haven't watched Picard, but that was not a spoiler by any means.
I think at this point, if that is a spoiler,
if I didn't know,
then you should have watched
then
it
I wasn't
already.
online. Basically, if that was a spoiler, I've never been online in the last 5
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I mean, I have enough geek things that I follow. But again, Voyager does do its things where it goes back in time and adjusts the timeline. But something that adjusts the timeline all the time is Doctor Who. So,
wibbly wobbly, that was quite the shoehorn.
I was trying to segue into the Third Doctor. If you've been paying attention long enough, we're back to the Third Doctor.
Was that a segue or a shoehorn?
You know what? It's segued. Still with it.
So, well, for today, we are finally going to be talking about the Third Doctor's adventures, the Third Doctor's stories, or at least our favorite ones.
Yeah, there's too many not great ones to...
But between technical difficulties and scheduling, we are finally back to continue on this after talking about the villains for Halloween. And now here we are. So, if you haven't checked out our first and second Doctor Adventures episodes, basically what we've done is we both picked 5 stories, and all 3 times it's happened out where we end up with 4 of the same, and then...
I know, I think that's really cool.
It's, at this point, it's somewhat intentional.
It doesn't seem too far off from, your story that is not on mine. I still have it high enough up there where it's not my top 5 favorite, but it's still, I enjoyed it.
Honestly, at this point, it's probably somewhat intentional because it's what we've done so far. But we reserve the right to break the rules because that's what sci-fi does, as we discussed with Voyager.
And if you are listening, we don't want to bore you so much that we have 10 different stories we have to talk about.
It's true, because we could. And for all we know, that's what's going to happen with the Fourth Doctor stories, but we haven't gotten that far yet, and...
I don't imagine that, but we'll see.
I mean, we'd have to run the numbers, but I think the First Doctor and the Fourth Doctor probably have comparable number of stories, just different lengths of seasons, but we're not talking about the Fourth Doctor yet, so...
No, but I mean, I have one story left to finish his second season, so I'm getting near the end of Sarah Jane. I kind of don't want to finish it for that reason.
It's okay. At least you know that she comes back. It takes decades for her to come back, really.
Unless you watch K9 and Company. Then you wish you didn't come back.
I was going to say, you just there's the Sarah Jane episode, or like a Christmas special.
Isn't that K9 and Company?
I think it's called A Girl's Best Friend or something, but regardless. But there's also the 5 Doctors.
And there's the 5 Doctors. She does come back for that. I've seen that already, so I just have to look forward to it at that point. But anyway, let's not just talk about Sarah Jane. Let's go back to the 3rd Doctor and a couple companions before her.
We will have plenty of time to talk about Sarah Jane and the others when we get to our companions episode.
Yes, we will. So, well, I guess the first story, is that just mine? That's not one of your... No, the second one is mine.
Nope, this one's for both of us.
Yep.
So the first story
we started
on our list
at the very
is
beginning.
The first story.
Yeah.
So it's
kind of nice the way that worked.
Yeah. It's a solid story, spearhead from space. This is the first time we see the 3rd Doctor stumbling out of the TARDIS after his regeneration. I'll still maintain that I think that the Fugitive Doctor came right before that, so he plopped out after being Ruth, but that's just another theory.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. Moving on.
Yep, exactly. Canon means nothing. We just keep moving on. So you see the 3rd Doctor, the Brigadier, becomes a regular character for the next few seasons.
Yeah, pretty much most of the 3rd Doctor's time.
Yep, other than some visits away from Earth that happen later on, yeah, the Brigadier's around for all of it, basically. And it's our first... This story is our first introduction to Liz Shaw and the Autons.
We also have... don't we have Sergeant? Or is he in the next... Not in this one. What's his name? Wow.
You talking about Benton?
Benton. Isn't Sergeant Benton in this one, or is he not in this one?
Oh, he's probably in it. I can't remember exactly, but...
I don't see his name in this one when I'm looking at the cast list, so I thought he...
Oh, that's surprising, then.
He was in the Invasion with the 2nd Doctor. I guess he just didn't come
character
back
was
yet.
already in... the character was already in canon, yeah, so... Huh.
And then, anyway, so yes, we get the Brigadier back. We have mass respect for the Brigadier. Mass love for Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. But also one of the things I think that adds to Spearhead from Space is Liz Shaw. I think she's a very underrated character.
No, I looked it up, and Benton is, like, barely in Season 7. I didn't realize how few episodes he's in, so... He's in a couple episodes of Ambassadors of Death, and he's in Inferno.
I was going to say, he's in Inferno.
But those are his only Season 7 appearances.
Oh, interesting. But again, I do think I really like the introduction of Liz Shaw because she is almost a mental foil for the Doctor at this point. After having companions who... After Zoe was also very intelligent, but she was futuristic intelligent. So there was a kind of a disconnect, I feel like, with relating to her because she was from a a future, and have we hit that future yet? I don't remember. Like 20 years from now?
No, it's like 20, 30 years in the future.
Yeah.
Mid 21st century. We're still a ways off from
We're
that.
still a ways away. Okay, good.
But even besides that, I mean, Liz is smart, but Zoe was a genius by today's standards and by her time period.
Yep.
Zoe was a genius. So to get Liz, who's just smart by 20th century standards, able to match wits with the Doctor, you don't need to be a genius to be able to put the Doctor in his place.
Correct.
See also Donna Noble.
Right. But with Liz Shaw, she didn't have the attitude or the youthfulness. So the attitude of Donna or the youthfulness of Zoe. She has this just true, pure intelligence, but also this curiosity, which also keeps her moving forward with the Doctor.
And yet
one of the
skepticism at the same time.
And always skepticism. She doesn't believe a word he says when she first meets him. And she's just like, well, if that's true, then... And she could go down that path of the suppositions that you have to make with what the Doctor is saying. Of course, the Doctor is always right, but she's able to at least connect the dots that theoretically he's right in her mind. Even if she doesn't necessarily believe him, she can say, well, theoretically, I think you would be right with that information. So... But I mean, again, and you also have the Autons who make another appearance with the Third Doctor, but also they're the first villain for the Ninth Doctor as well.
And not just the Ninth Doctor, but the modern era of Doctor Who. Like, they are the ones that brought things back.
Yep.
Make plastic scary again.
I mean, by all means, that I walk by a store in the mall and. Do they have guns in their hands? And nope, nothing to do with mannequin at this point.
I don't know. I still think of that Spider-Man kid mannequin that we talked about in our last episode. That pops up in my memories every year between us. And
oh yeah,
mannequins are weird.
Mannequins are weird. Of course, Spider-Man kid mannequin. Maybe that one, but I think that one was an Auton. I mean, I'm sorry.
And I think that's why we keep bringing it up on this one.
No mannequin stands like that. Okay, should we go on to our next story, which for me is mine, and it relates to the Auton.
I was going to say, we'll get plenty, that's our only Liz Shaw episode.
It is our only Liz today, Shaw, but we
will have plenty of time to talk about Liz Shaw when we do our companions episode, and we will have plenty to say.
We always have plenty to say. But yes, plenty to say about Liz.
Yes, well, yes.
I'm just teasing. Okay.
Okay, so go on to Terror of the Autons.
Moving on to the next story. So there's a lot of commonalities between our first story that we talked about and the second story, which is one of my favorites, Terror of the Autons. You're the same type of villain, the Autons. It's the first story for a companion. It is the first story for Joe... Is it Joe Martin or is it Joe... I can't remember what her last name is. Why am I not blanking on that? Joe Martin's the actress that plays Ruth, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, sure, I'm blanking now too, because it's Joe Jones after she gets married, but... Joe Grant.
Joe Grant. Jeez.
Joe Grant Jones. But right now she's just Joe Grant.
Now she's just Joe Grant. Man, my brain, I tell you. I'm getting old.
Too many Joes.
It's December. I'm about to hit another annual mile marker for myself, so I'm really getting old here. But it also introduces us to another Gallifreyan known as the Master.
Never heard of
the
him
Doctor's
before.
Greatest enemy and best friend, and this is his very first appearance. The Master.
One day, the Doctor's girlfriend. What?
Kind of. According to Missy, but Missy's bananas. So, I think that with this
Missy.
one, you've got Roger Delgado. I was reading about him, and I don't think we get to talk about him again. But he passed away in a tragic car accident at one point, which is during the Third Doctor's tenure, and which is one of the reasons why Joe or Katie Manning was kind of done, because they had the Master. I didn't realize this when I was starting my watch through, but the Master appears. I think he appears in every story of the 8th season, and he appears a lot throughout the Third Doctor's tenure. Like, I mean, until the final season, of course, but he just is such a great villain. And I know we talked about the Master before, but this is one of the things. I mean, he is evil to begin with, but he's also crazy. Like, he starts off almost Missy crazy, and that's what makes him so awesome and so welcome to come back, even though half the time I don't want to see him back.
Bananas.
Yep. So, really enjoyed it.
It wasn't my favorite.
That's right.
It wasn't my favorite of the Master stories, but we'll get to plenty of the Master anyway, so I'm not gonna. This is your story to pick anyway, so.
Right. But the Master does have this repetitive theme with, I want to take over by using somebody else to get me there. Oh wait, they don't listen to me. I mean,
that sounds
even
familiar.
Missy
Didn't
runs
Missy do
into
that with the Cybermen?
Yes, she did. So it's like, oh, Master did that from the very get-go. So it's like, dude, you're an idiot, and he keeps trying to do it. So, and he does come in the next episode, which is what our next story is to discuss. But I'll let you introduce it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, at least the Saxon Master, when he brought the Toclophane from the distant future, was somewhat successful there.
Yeah, he didn't count on the woman who'd walk around the world.
Oh, Martha.
So, but go ahead and move on to...
So, The Mind of Evil. This was on both of our lists, and I really enjoyed it. It began as 2 parallel stories, and just they ended up blending, and just the theme presented of it's like the prison experiment is trying to like remove the evil part of the human beings.
Yep.
And instead, and I don't remember the exact sci-fi science woohoo of how it all worked.
Yeah, sci-fi science.
But it
basically was removing their desire for evil or whatever. I mean, it's a science fiction thing,
but yeah. But it oversimplified the good and evil parts of being a human being, and
but it added to the value of knowing good from evil from experience and life, and not.
Well, and I feel like this keeps hitting me in different things that I'm reading and watching right now. That just the importance of being a whole person.
Yeah.
I noted Inside Out 2 with.
I still haven't seen it, but that's okay.
So, basically.
You can spoil it. You're fine.
Okay. Well, I'll just say, just moral of the story. She learns that all of her emotions are important.
Yep.
Just like the first one, except that this one also adds the part of her sense of self amounts to being many different pieces. Not just I'm a good person, but that being herself is complicated. That she's a good friend, she's a bad friend, she's honest, she's lying. Like, it's just...
Well, and life is complicated.
And that's part of growing up, which is why it works with Inside Out too, that it's... But this is also the part of her learning this is part of like a panic attack, which had me crying, and that's a whole nother thing. But I was listening to the Follow Him podcast with Hank Smith and John Bytheway, doing it for the Come Follow Me readings.
Right.
For church. If you've listened to that before.
I haven't, but I mean, I've heard, I know lots of people who do.
Well, a recent episode, I can't remember which block of scripture it was regarding necessarily. I think it was in recent weeks though, but they had a guest on their show that was like a psychologist, and he's talking about just, I think it was natural man, weakness, like all these different scriptural references pointing towards, part of repentance, part of humility is accepting all these different parts.
Right.
You can't just erase part of yourself. We were talking about Star Trek earlier, and I just had in my Facebook memories pop up a blog post that I did about when Captain Kirk had a transporter accident, and he had his timid side and evil side, and
there were two sides to Kirk,
and he needed both. He was not a functioning captain without both sides. So,
right. I mean, and that, I think, is what makes the mind of evil kind of such an interesting tale that it tells. That I want to say the character's name is Barnum. That is the one that really is hit with the evil removing thing. I have it noted in one of my other notes. That's his name. So, but one of my issues. This is lower on my 5 top favorites for the Third Doctor. I think I put it at my 5th one when I rank them. And one of the reasons is that Jo gets re imprisoned in the prison with the Doctor. It's like she escapes and gets put back in the 6-episode story arc like 5 times. But in between 2 of those, she pretty much overthrows all the evil prisoners or whoever's taken charge by herself. I mean, this is Jo proved you do not mess with Jo Grant right early on. She's not a screaming companion with this, and that's one of the reasons why I really like The Mind of Evil is that Jo wasn't there to just hand the Doctor his tools. She was there to put in a good fight for when she felt like whatever Jo felt like was the right thing to do. Jo went for it, and this story really showed it, and that's what made it so enjoyable to me.
Let's say you say she got locked up 5 different times, but she got out 6 different times, is what I would
exactly.
say.
She got out enough times. I mean, and there was only one of those times where, if I remember correctly, that it was really kind of Jo's fault that she got put back in. Everything else, it's kind of like, well, Jo, again, like I said, she was trying to do the right thing, and that's how she ended up getting re-imprisoned, because she was trying to help somebody else who either wasn't doing the right thing or caused her to be imprisoned because she was trying to be trusting. So I love that that character side of Jo. Our next one.
The next one is, I mean, it had to be on the list.
Oh my gosh! Yep.
The 3 Doctors are first of the Doctor Who anniversary multi-Doctor stories.
I would just go with our first multi-Doctor story.
It's a multi-Doctor story, but it's set the precedent for the anniversary multi-Doctor stories.
It does. It really does. I mean, you get, what, 10, 20, and 50 for sure.
I mean, if you count the 14th and 15th Doctors, the 60th had a multi-Doctor story, too.
60th as well. At least it had transcending companions, in a way. You had 2 previous companions really coming back in a strong episode.
But I think it's just like rewriting sci-fi rules that we were talking about before. There was a line in the 3 Doctors about, he can't cross his own timeline. And then I created a series of memes that had that line, plus the 5 Doctors, plus 13 and the Fugitive Doctor, had the 6th Doctor and the 2nd Doctor, the 6th Doctor and the Valeyard. There's the 12th Doctor and the 1st Doctor, and just on and on. Like, no, it's like we change the rules. He can cross his time stream whenever we want him to, basically.
And it's early enough on where the Time Lords are probably sitting there thinking, well, he shouldn't be able to. And now that he's done it once, yeah, whatever. Who cares? He's already messed up, or the Doctor's messed up enough. Crossing their own timeline isn't going to hurt it any further. But yeah, I mean, the 3 Doctors. When I first watched that one, I just couldn't not love it. Like, it was. I love Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor, getting to see him in color for the first time. It was kind of cool too. But it wasn't even just like paying homage or fan service. Like that's such an easy thing that they could have been doing and pointing out, but it really was a really good story using that idea of the Doctor being so many at this point, 3 of them that we know of, being able to enter their own time stream. I mean, you even get the Brigadier, going back a couple of years when he first meets the Third Doctor, didn't like him, didn't think he was the Doctor, was really annoyed with him, eventually accepts him as the Doctor, and as soon as he sees the second Doctor, he's just like, oh good, you're back. I want you back here anyway. I don't like the other one. Like, it's just, he just took back to the second Doctor so quickly.
I think that might say more about the Brigadier's, like, just like, I don't even care anymore. I'm just gonna roll with the punches. Like,
yep.
Oh, there's 2 of you now. Of course there are.
I mean, he knows that he's a time traveler, so it could have easily been just out of order for him. But instead, it was just like, oh well, it's the second Doctor, but that's who I want to have back here.
So, I just think it was beautifully written, like the dynamics of all the 3 Doctors working together, even with they had to adapt things such a way because of William Hartnell's health. And I don't know, I feel like the 3 just played off each other so well, and it shows. Like,
oh yeah, I love the first Doctor making fun of the other 2 as well. That's kind of funny.
And that never changes. The first Doctor or any of the Doctors will always make fun of the rest of them.
Yep.
Like the 10th Doctor and the 11th Doctor comparing screwdrivers. Like, it's just, it's one thing or another.
Well, I mean, the 10th Doctor tells the 11th Doctor, oh, you redecorated, I don't like it, which is pretty much what the second Doctor says to the 3rd Doctor.
Oh, that line comes up all the time.
Oh yeah, and it starts with this one.
Yep.
That is where it started.
I mean, in the end, I love that it was a special episode, and like you said, it was not, like, it could have just been fan service, but it wasn't, and it wasn't just a special episode. It had repercussions for the future, if for no other reason, because it introduced, like, after this episode, after this story, the Time Lords restored the Third Doctor's capabilities to travel again.
Yep.
Which changed the rest of the Third Doctor's era. Instead of being grounded, he was able to to travel and explore, and I mean, he still pretty well stayed with the unit for the rest of his time there, but Fourth Doctor onward, he's able to travel again.
Well, and then, at the same time, I feel like with the 30 Doctors, it also did have a good villain to make it worthwhile for the Doctors to need to team up against him. So that also helped. And again, just such a good episode with so many future repercussions that it was really good. So, shall we move on to our next story tale?
Yeah, our next episode is The Time Warrior. It was on both of our lists, and it introduces Miss Sarah Jane Smith.
Sarah Jane Smith. Sarah Jane Smith, who's like, oh, this is a very interesting reenactment that you guys got going on here. I mean,
not bothered one bit. She's just along for the ride.
And then she realizes she's in danger, and it's like, oh, okay. But you've got Sarah Jane Smith's introduction, which could have been a little bit better. But on the flip side, she follows. She's one of these not quite dodo, but she does just walk into the TARDIS.
You see, but she walks into the TARDIS and then wanders back out and actually has a plot.
Yep. Whereas Dodo walks into the TARDIS and then walks out and is like, oh, I'm done. Anyway, see you later. Peace.
Yep.
But Sarah Jane just has such a good character, and that's the strength that she's got from the get-go.
Fact that she's a reporter compared to the 2 scientists before her gives it such a different dynamic too.
Jo was more of a lab assistant. but without really truly being she wasn't really a scientist, because I think she even fudged on her application because she wanted to work with the Doctor or something like that. So Sarah Jane being a reporter who cares about, she's a reporter who cares about people, and she's gonna go and do what she needs to do herself.
But even just the contrast of, Liz and Joe worked for UNIT, and Sarah Jane never worked for UNIT. Not here, not after. She was a friend of UNIT the whole time.
Yeah, she was
never like.
She was given UNIT credentials concept where it's like, we are sending this person here on behalf of this because she was with the Doctor. They had to. Doctor's like, no, she gets to go.
But also because she's not part of UNIT, she's able to get in some places that UNIT was not able to.
Yep.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, UNIT could have forced their way in, but that's not really the Doctor's style, anyways.
Oh, forcing their way in? No, not at all. But Sarah Jane, I mean, she forces her way into plenty of times with the 3rd and 4th Doctor and 10th Doctor and so on and so forth. So, but also, the other thing that is cool about it is that when you look at Doctor Who history and you see that this is the first Sarah Jane Smith story, and if you're watching it all the way through and knowing Doctor Who, then you're like, this is the woman who has met the most Doctors.
Well, and I love that, and I've seen this meme a number of times. It floats across my and the parallel of, Sarah Jane meeting the 3rd Doctor as Dr. John Smith, and then meeting the 10th Doctor as John Smith, and he knows who she is, and she's like, I knew a guy named John Smith.
Which is such a common name that she wouldn't question it.
But at the same time, she still remembered that little code name that he would use.
Oh, of course. I don't think anyone would forget their time with the Doctor unless it was forced upon them. So, I mean, you just really... Sarah Jane Smith became this character that this is her introduction. And it's also the introduction of our favorite...
Potato dwarfs.
The
psychotic potato dwarfs. Because of this episode, we get Strax.
We do. We get Strax. Without Strax, life isn't the same. But it's not Strax. It's what is it? Commander Link, I think, is the name of the Sontaran that she has to deal with. And it almost was comical, their introduction in this story, sitting there and being this weird, I don't know, clearly alien thing, being for Sarah Jane Smith, so that she really knows she's not in 20th century Earth at that point, but she does an awesome job dealing with it. And the 3rd Doctor has to put up with Sarah Jane and everything else. So, and I like it. Isn't this the one where they are going back and forth between past and present somewhat, where the scientists keep getting kidnapped and taken to the past so they can fix the ship, and so there's like this time disconnect, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, anyway, I think it's a fun episode. It introduces Sarah Jane, it introduces a new villain that becomes,
one of the more recurring ones over the course of the next 50 years.
I mean, they recur they recur with the 4th Doctor. Are they back with any of the others? I don't know them well enough.
6th Doctor, they appear in the 2 Doctors. Okay. And then the 10th Doctor, of course, and we get Strax with the 11th Doctor.
And 12th.
The 13th Doctor faced Sontarans during the Flux.
There's also aren't there Sontarans, at least in with the 11th Doctor and the box, the Pandorica?
Oh yeah, there was or at least one Sontaran that appeared.
Yeah, everybody appears, all the villains, and they were one of them because of their classicness. And yeah, you're right, I forgot about the 13th Doctor has to face with them. So, just a character that is consistently able to be brought back. But good introduction of Sarah Jane, good introduction of another villain.
Agreed.
So, moving on. This one's yours.
Alright, so for our final story, or this one's just on my list, Planet of the Spiders. Not a story for anyone with any even mild case of arachnophobia.
Oh yeah, my wife can't watch this one.
I mean, but that's just right in the title. I think that should be self-explanatory.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, there's parts of it that I was like, oh my gosh, that's really frustrating. Like, the voices in that did such a good job because they grate on fear just fine in my mind.
It did make me wonder though, just like, I mean, there's something innately human about this fear of spiders. Like it just runs deep. Because you got the Runaway Bride, you have Turn Left, you have Arachnids in the UK. There's like all these different Doctor Who.
Spiders are common. I mean, a lot of people have a big fear of spiders, and so that kind of adds to the fear horror element that Doctor Who once in a while likes to throw out there. So I can totally understand that aspect of it.
Oh, definitely.
Spiders are fight really creepy. So
we also got a good renegade Time Lord for once in our lives in this story.
I know. I forgot about that because I've seen this one before, and I did. Again, this one's not on my top 5, but it is in my top 10. So I really do have an appreciation for it.
And this is the first time that I feel like we really get like regeneration centric story. Mm-hmm. Like the hermit, this other Time Lord.
Yeah, the Tibetan Buddhist.
Yeah, he prepares for his regeneration, which teaches the viewer about regeneration, because up until this point we had the first Doctor just collapsing and the concept of regeneration not really being a thing, and we're just kind of learning it as Ben and Polly learned about it, which was kind of haphazard as it was. And then when the second Doctor regenerated, it was a forced regeneration, so we knew even less about a normal regeneration. And so this is our first time really dealing with a proper regeneration since that first one. And we're actually getting the education about Time Lords right from the source. And it prepares the third Doctor for his departure, just like we'd see with the fourth Doctor, with the 10th Doctor. We have these stories where the Doctor, because he knows it's coming, he can feel it, or there's something approaching him, that we have the story, while there's another plot going on, we know that there's this impending regeneration, and it's just a matter of how it's going to happen, not if.
Yeah, I mean and the thing is with this one, for me, I felt like watching it this time around that while it did foreshadow a little bit the Doctor's regeneration, I felt like it was kind of hurried. But I feel like a lot of these stories with Doctor Who early on, they have their like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and however many episodes that they are. And by the time the final act starts, it's very fast. And I felt like this was a little out of nowhere, if I remember. I have that as a note that it was kind of sudden, but again, it had been pointed out, or not pointed out, it had been foreshadowed a bit. If I remember correctly, the previous season ends with the Doctor having taken something he shouldn't have from Metabolus 3, isn't it?
Yeah, so because this story kind of brings things full circle. He has this letter or package from Joe that has this crystal, and from the same planet, it was Metabolus 3, right?
Yep.
Same planet as the spiders, just a different time period. So it's also just this kind of finale of the third Doctor's era, because we had Joe kind of brought back in. We had the regeneration. We even had mention of the Hermit in a previous season to Joe, I believe. So I mean, you say rushed. I feel like it's just wrapping up some loose ends.
It's wrapping up a lot of the loose ends, and I understand that. But again, I expected it, so I expected more from it. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Expectations are killer like that.
Yeah, they are. The other thing here is, so if you've watched that whole season at this point, starting with the previous episode that we mentioned, the Time Warrior, and then now with Planet Spiders. In between, you've got Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which Mike Yates has kind of gone rogue. He's been a semi-regular character throughout the Third Doctor's time. He's a captain with unit and screws up majorly in Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which I was really disappointed by. And then in here, Sarah Jane already knows who he is, and she runs into him while investigating this stuff. No, she doesn't run into him. I think Yates invites her, if I recall.
No, again, I think because they were together at the beginning of the story, so I think he reached out to her.
He invited her. Yeah, he invited her
to come check this out, and then she could be his liaison with Unit because they understandably don't 100% trust him anymore.
But he understood whatever was going on was not a good thing.
Yeah, there was something wrong.
Why he was in there. I don't know, I felt like, well, what are you doing with the wrong people again then, Mike? Like, good idea on you. So, but it's okay. That's who he is. You got a lot of Sarah Jane's kindness showing through in this episode storyline that I do like and appreciate as well. Of her taking care of, I can't remember the man's name.
Tommy.
Which anyway, but I do think it was a fitting ending to the Third Doctor. I just felt like there was a little bit of a rush at the very end for me. But I think that's a good story for him to have ended on.
I just wish, like many other times we've talked about recurring or other Time Lords, instead of having the Master back, why can't we have the Hermit back?
And again, I felt like the Hermit was not one that I remembered, because I had watched this one a long time ago, but definitely in between a lot of other classic Doctor Who that I'd already seen. So I forgot about the Hermit altogether being a Time Lord until I watched it again this time. So again,
he was flying under the radar, so I guess he did what he was supposed to.
Congratulations, Hermit! You have successfully stayed under the radar. A little too much there, don't you think, by this time? But that's the thing that always bugs me is there's this joke about Star Wars where they kill all the Jedi except for Yoda, and that list is actually really long when you think about it. And with Doctor Who, fine, they killed all the Time Lords, but
wait, there's more
other than a tooth. And then you've got the monk, who most likely was not going back to Gallifrey, and you've got here with the you've got the war. Well, I don't remember what happens with the war chief.
There's the Ronnie, and there's always someone else.
Mm-hmm. And then this one, I mean, you just got a lot of them out there that it would be nice if they could bring them back. And this is one we never see again.
Even though with Time Lords, all you need to do is recast them. They're regenerated. Yeah. Come on, guys.
Mm-hmm. Not that hard.
Come on, Russell T Davies.
If I was writing for Doctor Who, I would be pitching bringing back somebody. I would actually probably pitch to bring back the monk to start off with, but that's me.
Well, I mean, he's brought back other classic villains, so why not the monk?
Oh, I mean, the Celestial Toymaker is from a story that you can't even really watch, so I think that's pretty awesome that they were able to create that work. Make that work. So there's a lot of people here with the Third Doctor that don't ever return, and that's the way it goes. I mean, sometimes you just have people in your life for just a part of it, just like you have doctors in your life for just a part of it. Now we no longer have the Third Doctor in our conversations about the Doctor until we get to 5 Doctors, I guess.
But, I mean, for now, we've still got 2 more episodes about the Third Doctor to go, so we got plenty more Doctor
We got
Who
plenty to
coming.
talk about with the Third Doctor. Yes, you're right. Companions should be next, followed by the Doctor,
the Doctor
overall.
himself.
Yep.
Alright. I think that's all we got, so I'll let you close us out, per usual.
Well, thank you, and as everyone knows, alien abductions are involuntary, but probings are scheduled.